Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about Tesla stock, their Q4 reported earnings today, along with the bull and the bear case scenario for the stock. However, before we get into the video, quick legal disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. All risk you take in the market is your own. Do your due diligence and make sure that you remember that when you go into a trade, you put yourself there, no one else, and the risk is your own. With that, let's get into the earnings report. The consensus for the market was 1.13. The earnings whisper, which is more of an analytic, and I find that to be a little more accurate of what the consensus really is, 1.04. Tesla came in at 1.19, beating EPS, which is very good for Tesla. That's something we wanted to see. The reported revenue was 24.32 billion, and the expected revenue was 26.16 billion, which was an estimated $1.84 billion miss. That's pretty significant, especially for a company that has a lot of debt like Tesla does. However, let's see what the charts are telling us next. If we look at Tesla, on pre-market, we were kind of just sideways, sold off in the beginning of the day and pushed up throughout the day. Pretty common for Tesla. It's been in an uptrend recently. If we look where Tesla is now, we're sitting at $152.10. That's definitely a nice push up, about 6.183% on the stock post-market. Nice little earnings run for Tesla, especially after it missed rep. Looking at this, let's see what the stock is telling us on a larger time frame. So if we look at Tesla, we can clearly see that everyone knows that it had a nice massive sell-off coming down from the 170 range, breaking through the 200 weekly moving average and going below, almost forming a bear flag here. But since you've traded so far above and you're not really forming that clear pole where the last point in the pole, I wouldn't necessarily consider this a bear flag. So let's start with the bull scenario. Number one, you're starting to trend up. You're in a clear uptrend on Tesla, almost in the channel. That's good. You're slowly approaching, and at post-market, you're actually reaching the 50 daily moving average. That's your first challenger to going higher. Let's see what Tesla does tomorrow on pre-market, and during the market, it could have the momentum to break through it. I would like to see a nice break through it and a continuation to possibly 166.43, which is our 200-day weekly moving average. That is a significant support that we broke before. I wouldn't expect Tesla to break through that on the first try. Probably break through the 50 daily, go up to the 200 weekly, reject off it, come down to the 50 daily, go up. That's showing progress in Tesla, starting to reclaim those levels. And then the next challenge is going to be also this previous area of support that we broke. So if we look at right here, this area of 168.15, right where that moving average is, that's adding to the credence that we're most likely going to reject off of there. There's a lot of people that bought Tesla that may be wanting to get out in that region. You have this consolidation right before the rip down. There's a point that we have to be aware on Tesla that it may reject off there. However, the chart's being constructive. You formed a bottom. You also have what possibly is volume capitulation on Tesla. We refer to volume capitulation from a bullish standpoint. It's preceding a very bearish event. Here you see the run up on volume, you top out of volume right at the bottom of Tesla. So this could be volume capitulation on Tesla, but like we're going to talk in the bear case, it may not be. So there's a 50-50 chance I would put at this is or is not volume capitulation. But for the sake of the bull argument, let's look at if this is volume capitulation. Therefore, we've created a bottom on Tesla. Check. We're in an uptrend. Check. We have now gone to our first resistance point, and we need to see how it reacts there. If we're able to break it, probably 166 our next target, and we have to see from there how we react to that area. It's most likely going to be hard resistance. The best case scenario for Tesla in that area is to consolidate and keep going to where it's going. However, if it's going to do that, Tesla's pretty violent in its trading moves, so we have to see. Recently, it's stopped doing that. These days aren't as crazy as Tesla's known for, with 10-20% days. So you're starting to be more constructive with the stock. You're starting to create price action, up and down, price structure, which allows you levels to come back to retest, to find support. That's bullish. If we get through all this region, Let's say we do. We're looking a far-term bullish scenario for Tesla. We get over the 200. We're now over to the 200. We're going to start having to take out these regions of resistance and it's going to take time. It's going to take time to build into resistance there. It also depends on what Tesla's future earnings are going to be. I don't think we get up to the 228s even before next earnings. I think you're going to have to see Tesla provide continuous earnings of improvement and things that the investors want to see to continue buying into it, to continue that bullish scenario. We talked about the bull, now let's talk about the bear. So it's pretty simple for the bear scenario. You have resistance number 1, resistance number 2, and these resistances right here. So on top of that, these are opportunities to short Tesla. However, Tesla is a very, very large moving stock. It's also the graveyard of shorts, what it's known for until recently. Let's face it, guys, that's a massive downtrend. And that's where the bullish scenario really ends for me, where Tesla from highs would be down. If we looked at the current price, you're looking to be down 63%. That's a pretty steep haircut. Not necessarily maybe even at volume capitulation. That's the next thing I wanted to talk about. If we look at Tesla's historical volume, this area that we just looked at right here, there's volume that's way bigger. So we have to really see what that is going to tell us. This could be the bottom, this could be not. You could, similar to 2008 crash on the stock market, not saying that's going to happen, guys. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing is the stock market broke below the 200. That's your like all-time support before you start waterfall. You kind of had a waterfall, but you could be forming almost a to B leg, which if it completes, if we go from top to bottom to here, that would actually be $56 on Tesla. If we reject here and we have to confirm this trade below 104.36, basically your swing point low, you break below that, you confirm the A to B, you're probably targeting $56 on Tesla. That's the bearish scenario on Tesla that's really holding me back from being bullish on the company, is the risk that we come back to this previous low and break it. If you come back to this previous low, you're probably going to waterfall down or stair step down at the least to $56 on the company. That will put you back to, if we look here historically, this consolidation region in 2020, which from where it's positioned wouldn't be a horrendous point for Tesla to go to. You would probably have significant volume capitulation then. A lot of people will be running for the exits. But are we going to get there? We have to see. We have to see the chart confirm, trade below that swing point low, and where we go from there. There's more downside to Tesla, I believe, where we have to look at it from a holistic view that you're below a lot of resistance levels. You got to get through it. And to get through it, you need to really have drive to get up there and break through it. What is an investor going to be driven by Tesla when you're heading into a tightening environment for interest rates? You're openly being told by the Federal Reserve they want to destroy jobs. If people don't have jobs, therefore they don't have the ability to pay for an electric car. If you've never bought an electric car before, it's expensive. You don't have the luxury to buy a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 car. Most people that are working $50,000, $70,000 jobs supporting a family, they're buying $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 max clunkers. They're not going to be going out to buying these cars. And also, a lot of people that are able to afford these cars, they're going to be affected by inflation. They're going to be affected by wealth destruction. The Federal Reserve is hell-bent on making everyone suffer. The people that are even able to buy these cars during bad times, they're not going to be spending on something on a depreciation asset. And I know no one really wants to talk about Carvana and CarMax. When those two companies go bankrupt, they're going to probably flood the market, further devaluing used car values, which will impact Tesla's resale value, because why should I buy a Tesla when I can go buy something cheaper? I have a lot to choose from. So there's not an incentive in tight financial conditions for me to go buy the company. And also, if we go back to the revenue loss on Tesla, you missed by $1.8 billion, however, had record car sales. That's the thing that is the hypocritical, or two sides that can't be true at the same time. You can't sell more cars and make less money unless something is fundamentally breaking in the company, that the company is seeing dark times ahead, which they should. Every single company is telling you dark times ahead. There's not a single company that's reported that's saying a rosy picture, that we see growth going through the roof, that depending on what sector they are, but like in tech, like Microsoft reported bad earnings. Boeing, kind of meh. I'm not going to really dive into that, but if we compare to these super stable companies, they're not giving us rosy pictures, and Tesla, I don't think, is giving you a rosier picture too. They're highlighting their successes, but they're not necessarily highlighting good guidance. They're not saying, oh, we're going to go and deliver, some crazy amount of cars next year. They're basically coming out and saying, reaffirming that they're on track. On track, gotcha here, guys. It's not going to get you out of the hole, because fundamentally, on a technical level, Tesla has a crap ton of resistances to break through. Like I said when I was discussing the bull scenario, if you get above them, may be able to go further. It's going to be depending on what next earnings drive higher. So if I have to split, I'm going to say 25% bullish, 75% bearish. Now, I'm willing to be wrong on that. I'm willing to say that with Tesla that this was a bottom, and it truly could be. This is characteristic of volume capitulation, but that A to B pattern scares me, guys. That's not something I necessarily want to touch. Even if I was to try to get into Tesla, I want to see conviction above this 200 weekly. I want to see something above the 200 weekly, hold with conviction, retest, buy on the. That's where I'd be looking for the bull side. For the bear side, I would like to buy Tesla at $50. I think Tesla has a future. I think it disturbed the market in a significant way, and I think it has a lot of opportunity, but not at its current evaluation. I think there's more downside. I think you have higher risk to go there, and there's better companies to invest and put my money into. So that's the overall analysis I have for Tesla. If you guys like this type of content, we do earnings reports when earnings come out. We do a weekly deep dive on the stock market in general, and we're going to start expanding to doing individual stocks on technical analysis. We do a lot of fundamental analysis on the individual stocks. If you guys drop a comment down below, tell me what you think of the video. If you think you disagree with me, throw it in the comments. Let's have an open discussion about it, why you think you're this or why I think this, and let's learn from one another. I want that feedback from you guys. Also, if you think this content's interesting, hit subscribe, hit like, and let us know that you like these type of videos. And with that, guys, I bid you farewell. Have a great night.